Captain Lisa Morgan stood at the viewport of the Earth Defense Force vessel Vanguard, her eyes fixed on the strange ship that had appeared near Jupiter Defense Station 3 days ago. It was unlike anything humans had ever built, smooth and oval-shaped with a surface that seemed to shift colors like oil on water. "Any response to our messages yet?" Lisa asked, not turning away from the window. John Kent, the communications specialist, shook his head. "Nothing clear, Captain, but there's something. Patterns in the radio waves coming from their ship. I think they're trying to figure out our language." Lisa nodded. This was what they had trained for, what humanity had been preparing for since they first looked up at the stars. First contact. But despite all the movies and books, no one really knew what would happen when humans finally met aliens. "Keep sending the greeting package. Math, basic physics principles, pictures of Earth and humans. The usual first contact protocol," she ordered. The bridge was quiet. Everyone felt the weight of this moment. They were making history, representing not just the Earth Defense Force, but all of humanity. Admiral Sam Carter's face appeared on the main screen. His expression was serious, as always. "Captain Morgan, any updates?" "They haven't responded in a way we can understand yet, sir. But communications thinks they're working on it." Sam nodded. "The Security Council is getting nervous. That ship appeared out of nowhere with no warning. Our sensors didn't pick up anything until it was already in our solar system. That suggests technology far beyond ours," Lisa said. "Exactly why we're nervous. Your orders remain the same. Establish contact if possible, but maintain safe distance. The Defender and 3 other ships are on their way to your position, just in case." Lisa understood what wasn't being said, just in case these aliens weren't friendly. "Yes, sir, we'll be careful." After the Admiral signed off, Lisa turned to her crew. "Let's not assume the worst. They haven't shown any aggressive moves. They might just be as curious about us as we are about them." Kate Miller, the ship's science officer, approached with a tablet in hand. "Captain, I've been analyzing what little data we have on their ship. The material doesn't match anything in our database, and there are energy readings that suggest extremely advanced technology." Before Lisa could respond, John called out from his station, "Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's different." "On screen," Lisa ordered. The main display filled with symbols none of them recognized, flowing and changing. Then, suddenly, the symbols were replaced by a face. The crew gasped collectively. The being on screen looked almost human, but with key differences. Its skin had a slight blue tint and seemed to shine in the light. Its eyes were larger than human eyes and reflected light like mirrors. It had no hair, and what appeared to be 6 fingers on each hand. "Hello, humans of Earth," the being said, its mouth movements not quite matching the words they heard. Some kind of translation technology was at work. "We are the Vorax. We come in peace and seek dialogue." Lisa stepped forward. "I am Captain Lisa Morgan of the Earth Defense Force vessel Vanguard. On behalf of Earth, we welcome you to our solar system." The alien, who later introduced itself as Speaker, nodded in a surprisingly human gesture. "We have traveled far to find intelligent life. Your radio signals reached our world many years ago. We have been studying them to learn your languages." Over the next few days, communications became easier as the Vorax translation technology adapted. Speaker requested a meeting, and after consulting with Earth leadership, Lisa agreed. The meeting took place on the Vanguard. Security Officer Greg Peters wasn't happy about having aliens on board, but President Maria Rodriguez had been clear. This was a diplomatic mission now. Speaker and 2 other Vorax came aboard. They brought gifts, strange crystals that glowed from within and small devices that projected 3-dimensional star maps. "These maps show our home world," Speaker explained, pointing to a star system Lisa didn't recognize, "and our journey to your solar system." Kate was fascinated by the technology. "Your navigation abilities must be incredible to travel such distances." "We have had much time to develop our technology," Speaker said. "Your species is young, but impressive in how quickly you learn." The initial meetings went well. The Vorax seemed eager to share cultural information. Though they were vague about certain details of their technology, they explained they were explorers and scientists, seeking knowledge about other life forms in the galaxy. A week after first contact, Speaker made their first request. Our world suffers from severe drought, Speaker explained during a meeting with Lisa and representatives from Earth governments. Our oceans are drying up. We detected large amounts of water in your system. We would like to request access to some of your water resources, particularly from your outer moons and ice asteroids. President Rodriguez looked thoughtful. Water is plentiful in our system. I don't see why we couldn't arrange something, as a gesture of goodwill. Admiral Carter, however, seemed less convinced. What exactly would you do with this water, and how much do you need? Something flickered across Speaker's face, an expression Lisa couldn't read. We would process it on our ships, extract what we need. The amounts would be substantial. Later, after the Vorax returned to their ship, Kate approached Lisa in her private quarters. Captain, something doesn't add up about their water request, she said, showing Lisa readings on her tablet. Based on what we've observed of their biology, they don't seem to need water in the quantities they're talking about, at least not for drinking or basic life support. Lisa frowned. What are you suggesting? I don't know. Maybe there's some other use they haven't explained. Or maybe... Kate hesitated. Maybe they're not being entirely truthful about their needs or intentions. Before Lisa could consider this further, her communicator beeped. It was Greg. Captain, we have a problem. His voice was tight with tension. Our systems detected unauthorized access attempts to Earth's defense network. The source was traced back to the Vorax ship. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. Are you certain? Yes, Captain. The access pattern was subtle, but definitely targeted. They were looking for information on our weapon systems, defense capabilities, and fleet positions. Lisa's mind raced. Was this all a trick? Had the friendly diplomatic mission been a cover for something else? Or was there some misunderstanding? Don't alert them that we know, she decided. Increase security on all systems, but keep it quiet. I'll inform Admiral Carter and President Rodriguez. Let's not jump to conclusions, but be ready. As she ended the call, Lisa looked out at the stars and at the alien ship floating in the distance. First contact had been made, but now she wondered, was this the beginning of a new friendship between species, or the calm before a storm? 3 weeks had passed since first contact with the Vorax. The mood on the Vanguard had changed. What started as excitement was now caution, maybe even fear. Captain Lisa Morgan sat across from Speaker in the ship's meeting room. Admiral Sam Carter was there too, his face stern. President Maria Rodriguez joined by video from Earth. We need to discuss the access attempts to our defense network, Lisa said, watching Speaker carefully. The alien's mirror-like eyes showed no emotion. Access attempts. We know nothing of this. Perhaps there was a technical error in your systems. Admiral Carter leaned forward. It wasn't an error. Someone tried to get information about our weapons and fleet positions. The signal came from your ship. Speaker's skin changed color slightly, turning more purple. A misunderstanding, surely. The Vorax are scientists and explorers, not warriors. President Rodriguez spoke up. We want to believe you, Speaker, but you must understand our caution. Earth has agreed to share water resources from Jupiter's moons, but with some restrictions. Restrictions? Speaker's voice was different now, less friendly. Yes, the President continued. You'll have access to specific locations only, with Earth personnel present. Standard diplomatic protocol. Speaker stood up, moving in that too smooth way that always made Lisa uneasy. This shows distrust. The Vorax came in peace, offering friendship and knowledge. You respond with suspicion. After Speaker left, Admiral Carter turned to Lisa. I don't like this. They're hiding something. Lisa nodded. Kate Miller says their biology doesn't match their water request. They're asking for too much, more than they could possibly need. Keep watching them, the Admiral ordered, and prepare for anything. 2 days later, Lieutenant Paul Webb, who specialized in languages, requested to see Lisa. "Captain, I've been studying our communications with the Vorax," he said. "I think there might be translation errors making things worse." "What kind of errors?" Lisa asked. Paul showed her some examples on his tablet. "The Vorax language is complex. Their word for access can also mean understand. When they scan our systems, they might see it as learning about us, not stealing information." Lisa considered this. "So when we accused them of trying to access our defense network, they might have seen it as us accusing them of trying to understand us, which is exactly what they said they were here to do," Paul finished. This gave Lisa hope. Maybe this was all a big misunderstanding. But before she could act on this information, news came from Mars Colony Alpha. A Vorax delegation had visited the colony as part of the cultural exchange program. During their tour, their equipment had malfunctioned, causing a habitat breach. 3 colonists had died before emergency systems sealed the area. The Vorax claimed it was an accident. Speaker sent messages of regret. But Frank Nelson, an intelligence officer at the colony, sent Lisa private footage that suggested otherwise. "Watch their movements before the breach," Frank's message said. "They placed something on the wall exactly where the breach happened. This was deliberate." Lisa showed the footage to Admiral Carter and President Rodriguez. The decision was quick and unanimous. All Vorax movement within the solar system would be restricted until further notice. Speaker was furious when Lisa delivered the news. "This is an insult to the Vorax. We came in peace, we offered friendship. We ask only for water that you have in abundance." 3 people are dead," Lisa said firmly. "We need answers before we can continue as before." "You will regret this human suspicion," Speaker said. The words were delivered calmly, but Lisa felt a chill. That night, sensors detected 3 new ships entering the solar system from beyond the Kuiper Belt. They matched the design of the first Vorax vessel, but were much larger. They never mentioned other ships, Greg Peters said, watching the sensor readings with Lisa. "They lied to us." Admiral Carter ordered all Earth Defense Force ships to high alert. The Defender and its fleet arrived near Jupiter, taking up defensive positions. President Rodriguez tried one last diplomatic approach. In a direct message to Speaker, she said, "Earth still hopes for peaceful relations. We invite you to explain the purpose of these new ships and to discuss our concerns openly." The response came 6 hours later. It wasn't from Speaker, but from someone who called themselves High Commander. "The Vorax have been patient with human primitives," the message said. "We studied your signals for years before coming. We expected wisdom and openness. Instead, we found fear and aggression. Your species is not ready for the honor of Vorax friendship." Lisa and her crew watched in horror as the message continued. "We require your water resources. We will take what we need. Provide unrestricted access to Earth's water or face the consequences of your primitive suspicion." President Rodriguez immediately called an emergency meeting of Earth's leaders. The decision was unanimous. Earth would not be threatened. "Tell them we remain open to peaceful discussions," the president instructed Lisa. "But we will not respond to threats. Earth's resources belong to Earth." Lisa delivered the message, her heart heavy. She had hoped for so much from this first contact. New knowledge, friendship, a broader understanding of the universe. Instead, it was all falling apart. The response from the Vorax came quickly, not in words, but in action. The 3 new Vorax ships moved into formation around the original vessel. Their hulls began to glow with energy. "They're powering weapon systems," Greg shouted from his station. "Energy readings are off the charts." "Alert the fleet," Lisa ordered. "All personnel to battle stations." As alarms blared throughout the vanguard, Lisa looked out at the Vorax ships. Somehow, she knew what was coming. Humanity's first contact with alien life was about to become humanity's first interstellar war. "Captain," John Kent called from communications, "we're receiving a final message from Speaker." On the screen, Speaker's face appeared. For once, emotion was clear in those mirror eyes, regret, or something like it. "We gave you a chance for peaceful cooperation, Captain Morgan. Now we must take what we need." Your species left us no choice. The transmission cut off. In the distance, the Vorax ships began to move. The Vorax attack came without warning. Their first target was the Mars Defense Station. In seconds, the station was gone, destroyed by energy weapons unlike anything humans had ever seen. 422 people died instantly. On Earth, the response was swift. President Rodriguez declared a state of war. Admiral Carter took command of Earth's space fleet from the flagship Defender. All ships defensive formation, the Admiral ordered. Protect the civilian colonies at all costs. The Vanguard was near Europa when the attack began. Captain Lisa Morgan had just enough time to power up shields before two Vorax ships appeared. Evasive maneuvers, Lisa shouted as the first energy blast hit them. The ship rocked violently. Shields at 60%, Greg reported, his face pale but determined. Our weapons aren't even denting their defenses. Lisa looked at the navigation display. They were close to Europa's surface, where geysers of ice regularly erupted from the moon's surface. Full power to the engines, she ordered. Head straight for the surface toward the Tiger Stripes region. Her pilot, Ray Daniels, looked back in shock. Captain, that area has active geysers. If we get caught in one, the Vorax don't know. Europa like we do, Lisa cut him off. Do it now. The Vanguard dove toward Europa's icy surface, the two Vorax ships following closely. Lisa held her breath as they skimmed just above the ice, heading straight for an area where scientists had mapped regular eruptions of water plumes. 3 seconds to geyser eruption, Kate called out, reading scientific data. 2, 1. Pull up now, Lisa commanded. The Vanguard shot upward just as a massive plume of water ice erupted from Europa's surface. The Vorax ships, not expecting the natural phenomenon, flew directly into it. The sudden ice and water overwhelmed their sensors, giving the Vanguard precious seconds to escape. Get us out of here, maximum speed, Lisa ordered. Ray didn't need to be told twice. As they sped away from Europa, John Kent made a disturbing discovery. Captain, I've been analyzing Vorax communication patterns, he said. They've been monitoring our transmissions for decades. They know our military protocols, our ship capabilities, even our emergency response plans. Lisa felt cold dread. They've been planning this for a long time. It gets worse, John continued. Based on the data patterns, I think they were watching us for at least 50 years before making contact. The war's first days were devastating for humanity. The Vorax had superior technology, faster ships, energy shields that repelled conventional weapons, and destructive capabilities beyond Earth's most advanced systems. Admiral Carter led the fleet in defensive actions, trying to protect Earth's colonies while scientists desperately sought ways to fight back. The Defender became a symbol of hope as it successfully evacuated the Jupiter research station just before the Vorax destroyed it. A week into the war, Lisa received orders to bring the Vanguard to the lunar research base. There, she met engineer Olivia Ross, who had been studying the Vorax shield technology. I think I found something, Olivia explained, showing Lisa and Admiral Carter her data. Their shields operate on specific energy frequencies. If we can match those frequencies exactly, we might be able to penetrate them. Can you modify our weapon systems? Admiral Carter asked. Olivia nodded. I've already started work on a prototype, but we'll need to test it. You'll get your chance, the Admiral said grimly. Intelligence reports the Vorax are planning something big near Saturn. 3 days later, the modified Defender led a fleet of Earth's best ships to Saturn's rings. Lisa's Vanguard was among them. The beautiful rings of ice and rock particles would provide some cover for the smaller human ships. The battle began when 4 Vorax vessels emerged from faster-than-light travel. They were immediately met with everything humanity could throw at them: missiles, energy weapons, and swarms of fighter craft. At first, it seemed like another hopeless fight. The Vorax shields held against conventional attacks. But then Admiral Carter gave the order. All ships, switch to frequency pattern Ross Alpha. Target the lead Vorax ship. Lisa watched in amazement as the Defender fired its main cannon. The energy beam, modified to match the exact frequency of the Vorax shields, passed through their defenses like they weren't even there. The alien ship exploded in a burst of light and debris. For the first time since the war began, humans had destroyed a Vorax vessel. A cheer went up across all communication channels, but the victory was short-lived. The remaining Vorax ships quickly adjusted their shield frequencies and continued the attack. 2 human ships were destroyed before Admiral Carter ordered a retreat. The Vorax response to their first defeat was brutal. They targeted the mining colony on Ceres, destroying it completely. Over 3,000 civilians died. The message was clear. The Vorax would not show mercy. Back at Lunar Base, while engineers worked to adjust their frequency-matching technology, Kate Miller made a shocking discovery. "Captain, I've been analyzing the water samples the Vorax requested," she explained to Lisa. "I don't think they want the water itself. They're after something in it." "What do you mean?" Lisa asked. Kate showed her microscope images of tiny organisms found in Earth's oceans. These microbes contain a unique genetic structure. Based on what we know of Vorax biology, I think they need this genetic material to extend their species' lifespan. "They're dying?" Admiral Carter asked, joining the conversation. "Their entire species might be," Kate said. "They don't want to conquer us. They need us, or more specifically, they need what's in our oceans to survive." Lisa thought about this. Why didn't they just ask for help? Why the deception, the attack? Fear, maybe, Kate suggested. Or pride. Or they assumed we wouldn't help a species we'd just met. Admiral Carter's expression remained hard. Whatever their reasons, they've killed thousands of our people. We can't just forgive that. No, Lisa agreed. But understanding their true motivation might help us end this war. As they spoke, alarms blared throughout the base. On the main display, they saw a massive Vorax fleet appearing near Earth's moon. The true battle for humanity's survival was about to begin. 6 months into the war, things had changed. At first, the Vorax had every advantage: better ships, stronger weapons, and advanced shields. They expected an easy victory. What they didn't count on was humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt. Captain Lisa Morgan now commanded the Phantom, a new stealth vessel built with technology learned from studying destroyed Vorax ships. The Vanguard had been lost in the Battle of Earth's moon, but most of her crew survived and joined Lisa on her new ship. "Status report," Lisa said, looking at the main screen showing a Vorax supply convoy near Neptune. "Their sensors haven't detected us," Greg replied from his security station. "We're running silent just as planned." Lisa nodded. "Prepare to attack on my mark. Target their engines first, then weapons." The Phantom had been striking Vorax ships for weeks, appearing out of nowhere, causing damage, and disappearing before the aliens could respond. This guerrilla warfare was frustrating the Vorax, who preferred direct confrontation. 3, 2, 1. "Mark," Lisa said. The Phantom decloaked just long enough to fire its weapons, now modified to penetrate Vorax shields before vanishing again. 2 Vorax supply ships were crippled in the attack. "Direct hits," Greg confirmed. "Their engines are offline." "Good. Send the coordinates to Admiral Carter. The fleet can pick up the pieces." Back on Earth, scientists worked day and night to understand Vorax technology and biology. Dr. Alan White led a team developing biological weapons that targeted the aliens' unique physiology. "We can create a virus that affects only Vorax cells," he explained to President Rodriguez and Admiral Carter. "It wouldn't kill them, but it would make them sick enough to stop fighting." The president frowned. "Is this our only option?" "We've lost 15 colonies and over 50,000 lives," Admiral Carter reminded her. "The Vorax started this war. We need to end it." "But using biological weapons?" The president sighed. "What happens after the war? Could we ever have peace with a species we've attacked this way?" Before a decision could be made, news arrived that changed everything. The Vorax had sent messages to several nations offering separate peace deals. "They're trying to divide us," Admiral Carter said angrily, "offering safety to some countries while continuing to attack others." President Rodriguez stood tall, her decision made. "Prepare a worldwide broadcast. I want to address all of Earth." Hours later, people across the planet watched as their president spoke. "Citizens of Earth, the Vorax believe they can turn us against each other. They don't understand that this attack has united humanity like never before. We are one people defending our home. We will not negotiate separately. We stand together, or we fall together. The speech was broadcast into space, where the Vorax could hear it too. Their response was immediate, an increase in attacks on Earth's moon bases. Meanwhile, Security Officer Greg Peters had been working with a captured Vorax communication device. After weeks of careful study, he made a breakthrough. "Captain, I've decoded their battle plans," he told Lisa, his voice urgent. "They're planning a massive attack on Earth itself. They want to end the war with one final strike." Lisa studied the information. "How much time do we have?" 3 days at most, Greg said. "They're gathering their entire fleet." Lisa contacted Admiral Carter immediately. Together with Earth's military leaders, they formed a desperate plan. "We can't match them ship for ship," the Admiral admitted, "but we know our solar system better than they do. We'll use that to our advantage." The plan was risky. Earth's remaining fleet would hide within the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The Vorax would have to pass through this region to reach Earth with their entire fleet. "We'll place nuclear mines throughout the asteroid field," Admiral Carter explained. "When they trigger the mines, the explosions will create a chain reaction, sending asteroids into their fleet. In the chaos, our ships will attack from hiding places within the larger asteroids." For 2 days, Earth ships worked tirelessly, placing explosives and taking positions. Lisa's Phantom would lead one of the attack groups. As predicted, the Vorax fleet approached the asteroid belt on the 3rd day. Nearly 100 ships, including their massive flagship, moved in tight formation. "They're not even trying to be careful," John Kent observed. "They think we've retreated to Earth." "That arrogance will cost them," Lisa replied. "All teams, stand by." The Vorax fleet reached the center of the asteroid belt. Admiral Carter gave the order. "Detonate mines." The explosions rippled through space. Asteroids, propelled by the force, slammed into Vorax ships. The carefully arranged pattern created a wave of destruction that tore through their formation. "Now," Lisa ordered. The Phantom and dozens of other Earth ships emerged from hiding, firing directly at the now exposed weak points of Vorax vessels. The battle was chaotic and violent. Earth lost many ships, but the Vorax losses were greater. After hours of fighting, the massive Vorax flagship was crippled, its engines destroyed and weapons offline. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Vorax flagship," John reported. It's Speaker." Lisa hadn't heard from Speaker since before the war began. "On screen," she ordered. Speaker's face appeared, looking weaker than before. The blue tint of the alien's skin had faded to a sickly gray. "Captain Morgan," Speaker said, "your species has surprised us. We believed humans would be easily defeated, or that you would turn against each other when threatened. We were wrong." Lisa's expression remained hard. "You killed thousands of our people." "And you have killed thousands of ours," Speaker replied. "Our High Commander is dead. I am now authorized to speak for all Vorax. What do you want?" "To explain," Speaker said. "Our species is dying. A genetic flaw causes our cells to break down after a certain age. For centuries we searched for a cure. Then we found your world with its incredible biodiversity. The microorganisms in your oceans contain genetic patterns that could save us. So you decided to take what you needed by force," Lisa said. "We feared you would deny us if you knew the truth, that you would see us as a threat to your resources." Lisa leaned forward. "You became a threat when you attacked us, not when you asked for help." For the first time, Speaker looked away. "Perhaps we have both made mistakes. Would humans consider peace now that you understand our desperation?" Before Lisa could answer, Admiral Carter connected to the call. "Any peace would require guarantees and reparations for the colonies you destroyed." "We are prepared to discuss terms," Speaker said. "Our survival depends on finding a solution. Perhaps, Captain Morgan, you were right from the beginning. We should have trusted in cooperation rather than conquest." As the transmission ended, Lisa looked at her crew. The war wasn't over, but for the first time, there was hope for something beyond endless fighting. "Send word to Earth," she told John. Tell them we've captured the Vorax flagship, and Speaker is requesting peace talks. In the vastness of space, surrounded by the debris of battle, humanity had proven itself. Not just as warriors who could adapt and overcome, but as a species worth reckoning with. Peace talks began on neutral ground, the International Space Station, which had survived the war protected by Earth's best defenses. Captain Lisa Morgan sat across from Speaker, with Admiral Carter and President Rodriguez joining by secure video. Link, the war had reached a stalemate. Both sides had suffered heavy losses. Earth had destroyed many Vorax ships, but the aliens still had superior technology. Neither side could win without destroying what they were fighting for. We need to understand each other better, Lisa said, opening the talks. Lieutenant Webb believes our translation problems made things worse from the beginning. Paul Webb nodded. He had been working with Speaker since the battle in the asteroid belt. There are words in Vorax language that don't translate well to human concepts. Their word for taking can also mean borrowing with intent to return improved. Speaker's skin had regained some of its blue color since receiving medical treatment from Earth doctors. Yes, when we said we would take your water, we meant to process it and return it with beneficial additions. But this was lost in translation. Admiral Carter remained suspicious. That doesn't explain spying on our defense systems or the attack on Mars colony. The Mars incident was the action of an individual who has been punished, Speaker said. As for your defense systems, we were assessing if humans were a threat to us. Our history with other species has not always been peaceful. Slowly, day by day, the truth emerged. The Vorax civilization was indeed dying. Their cells began breaking. Down after a certain age, a genetic flaw that had developed over centuries of space travel and radiation exposure. Our scientists estimate we have less than 3 generations before our species becomes extinct, Speaker explained. Earth's biodiversity, especially your ocean microorganisms, contains genetic patterns that could help us repair our DNA. Lisa and Chief Science Officer Kate Miller proposed a compromise. Humans would help research a cure using Earth's biodiversity, but without giving the Vorax unrestricted access to the planet. We'll establish joint research teams, Kate suggested. Vorax and human scientists working together at secure facilities on Europa, where we have established water sampling stations. President Rodriguez agreed. We're willing to help save your species, Speaker, but we need guarantees this won't lead to more conflict. The Vorax accept these terms, Speaker said. We will share our medical technology in exchange. A fragile ceasefire was established. Vorax ships withdrew to Jupiter's orbit, while Earth's fleet maintained defensive positions around the inner planets. Engineer Olivia Ross was assigned to work with a Vorax engineer named Linar at the Europa research facility. Together they developed new technologies that combined both species' knowledge. Your approach to energy distribution is fascinating, Linar told Olivia as they worked on a new medical scanner. Humans use simple tools in surprisingly effective ways. And your understanding of quantum fields is centuries ahead of ours, Olivia replied. Together, we're making more progress than either of us could alone. Within months, their collaboration produced breakthroughs that helped both species. The Vorax provided advanced medical technology that cured several human diseases. In return, human scientists helped identify genetic sequences in Earth microorganisms that could stabilize Vorax DNA, but not everyone wanted peace. On Earth, a group called Humanity First planned attacks on the research facilities, believing any help to the Vorax was betrayal. Security Officer Greg Peters discovered their plot while reviewing communication patterns. They're planning to bomb the Europa facility, he warned Lisa. They've somehow gotten explosives onto the supply shuttles. Lisa alerted Europa security just in time. The bombs were found and disarmed. The plotters were arrested. Similarly, a Vorax commander named Krell attempted to break the ceasefire, attacking a human science vessel near Saturn. Speaker and the Vorax leadership stopped the attack and removed Krell from command. There are those on both sides who prefer war, Speaker told Lisa afterward. They fear what they don't understand. Then we need to help them understand, Lisa replied. Meanwhile, Dr. Alan White had been studying Vorax biology and Earth microorganisms. Working day and night, he had a sudden realization. It's not just any microorganisms they need, he explained to Kate. It's a specific type of extremophile, bacteria from deep-sea vents. When combined with certain human genetic sequences, it creates a stable pattern that could repair Vorax DNA. This discovery was the breakthrough they needed. A formal peace treaty was drafted, establishing clear boundaries and cooperation protocols. 1 year after the battle in the asteroid belt, President Rodriguez and Speaker met on Earth to sign the treaty. It was the first time a Vorax had set foot on the planet's surface. The ceremony took place in the newly rebuilt United Nations headquarters in New York. Representatives from all Earth nations attended, along with Vorax leaders. Today marks a new chapter for both our species, President Rodriguez said. What began in misunderstanding and led to war has now become an opportunity for growth and mutual benefit. Speaker stepped forward. The Vorax thank humanity for your generosity. You could have refused to help those who attacked you. Instead, you chose compassion and wisdom. We pledge to honor this peace for all generations to come. As part of the treaty, the first joint human Vorax exploration vessel was commissioned. Named Harmony, it would carry a crew of both species to explore distant star systems. Captain Lisa Morgan was offered command of the Harmony. She accepted without hesitation. On the day of launch, Lisa stood on the bridge of the new ship, looking at her mixed crew of humans and Vorax working side by side. John Kent was at communications, working. With a Vorax specialist named Talora, Kate Miller led the science team, which included both species. Even Greg Peters had accepted the security chief position, though he still watched the Vorax crew members carefully. Captain, all systems are ready, John reported. We await your command. Lisa looked out at the stars, the same stars that had brought two species together in war and now in peace. Send a message to Earth and the Vorax homeworld, she said. The Harmony is departing on its maiden voyage. We carry with us the hopes of two worlds and the promise of what we can accomplish together. As the ship moved away from Earth, Lisa thought about how far they had come. First contact had led to misunderstanding, then war, and finally to something neither species had expected: true partnership. The Harmony accelerated toward the outer solar system, beginning a journey that would take them to places no human or Vorax had ever been. The war was over. The true exploration had just begun,